Hey there, it's Kat and this is Brews and Reviews. In today's video I'm going to be going through my plans for May, so that is my May TBR and a short discussion about some of the videos that I'm going to be making throughout the month. So we'll start off with the videos. You may or may not have noticed that I have done a couple of Shadow and Bone explained videos, and I just kind of wanted to have a little quick conversation about those because I'm probably going to continue making those throughout May. I have a little bit of an obsession with Shadow and Bone right now, and sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm enjoying myself making these explained videos and I'm probably going to keep making them. Now I realise that not everyone is going to be interested in Shadow and Bone, especially not to the extent that I am currently. So if you're not interested in Shadow and Bone, then I totally get it. You don't have to watch those videos. My next video will be probably more normal content that you're used to, and then I'll sidle back and forth between the two things. So if you're not interested, skip the video. It's fine, I understand. I'm just living my little obsession life over here. Just let me get it out of my system. Yeah. So with that being said, now I can talk about my May TBR. I wanted to do something a little bit different for May because I'm going to be quite busy. I imagine I'm going to be quite tired during May, so I thought I don't really want to do any readathons. So I reached out to Kayla from krakentoagoodbook and I asked her to pick 5 or 6 books that I should read during May, and she picked my TBR for me. So I'm going to talk about the books that she picked. So the first book that she picked was Magic Bites by Alona Andrews. I know very little about this book, aside from the fact that it is an urban fantasy and sometimes technology works and sometimes magic works, but they never work at the same time and it fluctuates. Yeah, that's basically all I know. I've heard really good things about this series and everyone that I've heard talk about it really likes it. I think I just haven't picked it up because it's on my Kindle and it's really easy to ignore Kindle books when you've got all of these behind you, you know. The endless TBR, eh? So yeah, that was the first book that she picked for me. The second was Hold Back the Tide by Melinda Salisbury, and honestly I've completely forgotten what this book is about. I know the cover has some sort of lake sea type thing. I think it's about drowning or something about some... Right, this is just me making up a plot for this book based on the cover. This is not an accurate description of this book at all. Let me just read it off Goodreads. So I just looked up the synopsis on Goodreads and it's extremely unhelpful for what this book is actually about. So, yeah. A girl lives by a lake, something happened to her mother, and now she's questioning things as dark forces begin to rise. That is all I've got for you right here. Why did I buy this book? It must have sounded more interesting than that. There must be a reason. Anyway, so Kayla and I are going to be buddy reading that one. Because we're both interested in it, though from that description, who knows why? It's got to be more interesting than that. I'm sure there was something about her dad being murdery, but I just don't remember. We will see. This is going to be very interesting. So the next book that she picked was The Gutter Prayer by Gareth Hanrahan, and this is a book that I have been really, really wanting to read for ages, and I keep putting it off because it's slightly larger than your average sized book. That is genuinely the reason why I haven't picked it up, and I should be ashamed by that, but also... it's in my nature to avoid big, thick, heavy things. But from what I've been told, this book is really interesting, it's really good, and there are people made out of wax, candle men, and I don't know, I'm very, very interested in that. So finally giving me a boot up the butt to actually read this one. I'm very intrigued as to what it will be about. Speaking of giving me a huge kick up the rear, thanks Kayla for picking The Toll by Neil Shusterman. So this is the last book in the Scythe trilogy, and the only one that I haven't read, that I keep putting off because it's huge! Also, it's been ages since I read book 2 and I kept contemplating rereading book 2 before I read this one, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to read book 3 and I'm going to see what happens. Oh, it is so chunky though. So chunky. I'm not going to give any synopsis for this because it's book 3, and you know, I just remember there being some very shocking things that happened at the end of book 2, and I am curious as to where this one has gone, and hopefully I'll like it. Next up, Kayla chose Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. Now, this one has been described to me as Mulan meets a weaving competition, and I love competition books, so yes. And I also love Mulan, so yes. However, I did recently read Elizabeth Lim's Reflection, which was a Mulan sort of alternate twisted tale thing, and I didn't love it, but I have heard that this one is much better and very good, so I'm still very intrigued by this. Also, look at the cover, it's so gorgeous. I'm looking forward to reading this one, despite my reservations about Elizabeth Lim. I don't think it was necessarily her writing that put me off Reflection. I think it was perhaps the age that it was aimed at, because it was very much more middle grade, and I think this one is YA. So hopefully I will gel better with this one. And the last book that Kayla picked was The Plea by Steve Kavanaugh. I have no idea what this book is about. It is a thriller, and it will actually be the first thriller that I've read in 2021. I don't know what's happened to me this year, but I have been very much on a fantasy kick. So I haven't read any thrillers, and this is going to be the first one. And it's a good one because I really like Steve Kavanaugh's writing. I think that his plots are really inventive. This is the next book in the Eddie Flynn series that I have to read, and I've really enjoyed all the ones that I've read so far, so I'm excited to read this one. Also, funnily enough, Kayla actually gifted this one to me, so it's about time that I read it, so yeah. So that is my formal TBR for the month. I'm planning to read a couple of other books throughout the month as well. I'm going to be taking part in a read-along for the Broken Earth trilogy because it's about time that I got back to that series and finished it. So I think the 5th season is going through May, and that's going to be really interesting because I want to go back to it and finish this series. I've only heard great things about it, and I wish I'd carried on with it when I read the first one, but I just didn't because I think I was in the middle of a readathon or something. But yeah, no, I'm excited to read it. Aside from that, I'm probably just going to read Grishaverse books. I said I'm obsessed. I am obsessed. You know, it's a problem. But it's not really a problem. It's like the kind of good problem that I like to be immersed in. So I'm currently on Siege and Storm. I'm planning to go all the way through the Grisha trilogy, then the Six of Crows trilogy, and then finally read King of Scars and Rule of Wolves because I've not read them yet. And I feel like, what kind of fan am I that I haven't read those? But I was waiting for Rule of Wolves to come out, so admittedly I did do that for a reason, but like, oh well. Anyway, yeah, so I'll probably be reading those alongside everything else, but they're not formally part of my TBR, they're just probably things that will happen along the way. So those are the books I'm planning to read in May. Do you have a TBR that you've set for this month, or are you just gonna wing it? Or are you doing a readathon that you're taking part in? I don't know, let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to check out Kayla's channel, I'll leave a link to it down below. She makes some really great content and is far more insightful than I am, so you should definitely go check her out. So if you like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!